When I was 10 years old, I went to McDonald's every single week. I became quite familiar with old Ronald and did irreversible damage to my organs, probably. It was awesome. I remember going because Daniel and I would stop there on the way to our weekly Cub Scout meeting. That's right, I was a Weebelos, which is really what it's called. Oh look, the same symbol they used to burn into the flesh of criminals. Neat! So basically, the clown and I were besties, even though I did refuse to sit on his bench. Boundaries, dude. If you only know the McDonald's of today, you might be confused since it's now just a gray rectangle, but it used to be an exciting place. There was an entire play place, complete with a ball pit and only a little meningitis, as a treat. There were arcade cabinets which kind of looked like this and played bad games. There were Lego tables, which I distinctly remember a kid pouring salt all over. There was a birthday throne, which you can buy on eBay for $600. I mean, they even had burger chairs. Come on, man. I remember sitting at a table, sticking fries in my mouth, when suddenly sound entered my ears. Why, is that music? But what exactly does a McDonald's play over its speakers? Apparently Beethoven, if the customers get in a coin fight. But usually they just play mainstream radio and sell you Travis Scott meals or whatever. Back in the 90s, though, they played real radio.
This is Ronald McDonald, and you're listening to McDonaldland's Magical Radio.
This is real. McDonaldland's Magical Radio. Here's the lore. The Clown King of Burgers himself operated a pirate radio broadcast from his magical radio station, straight from the heart of McDonaldland. He was joined in this endeavor by his co-conspirators, Birdie the Early Bird and Grimace the Indeterminate Blob. Birdie, by the way, was voiced by Minnie Mouse.
But Ronald, this is radio.
She fell from the sky one day inside a giant egg and was born wearing goggles. Grimace, on the other hand, used to be straight-up evil and was voiced by Frank Welker, who is famous for Fred, Scooby, and a million other things.
Boy, am I mixed up.
He was a four-armed monster who stole milkshakes from children, but that's all in the past, because in 1995, the three amigos came together to create McDonaldland's Magical Radio, which was promoted on 4 cassette tapes given away as Happy Meal toys during Halloween. These tapes only had one song on each side and served to advertise the full-length albums that were available for purchase under the Kid Rhino label, starting with Ronald Makes It Magic. Let's pop this bad boy in and take a listen.
Rock and roll McDonald.
Wrong tape.
Hi-ho, everybody. I'm Ronald McDonald with my friends Birdie and Grimace.
Hello.
We're broadcasting on McDonaldland's Magical Radio.
Magical.
Do you believe in magic? And I hope you do. You'll always have a friend wearing big red shoes.
So, as you just heard, they like to do parodies, like a parody of In the Summertime called In McDonaldland, or a parody of Blue Suede Shoes called Big Red Shoes.
Big red shoes where you can do any move, but don't step on these big red shoes. Ouch! Stepped on my own foot.
Wow, I can't believe it's not on Spotify. So, the clown's got big shoes. We know this, but be careful. Don't mention it in his presence, or he'll disfigure you.
Ronald, those big red shoes sure are cool.
Want some?
Wow!
Now, I know what you're thinking. Yes, Ronald did just demonstrate a mastery over transformation magic, and this brings me to my next point. Ronald is a sorcerer. Like, he's straight up a magic clown. Did you guys know this? Because somehow I missed this foundational aspect of McDonald's lore. Track 3 on the album, titled Magical Journey, provides us with even more wizarding info.
Let me check my book of magic songs.
Okay, so Ronald has a spell book, and he teaches us an incantation which teleports the speaker straight to McDonaldland. It goes like this.
Say Inga Binga Boinga,
Inga binga boinga,
Nicka Nacka No.
nicka nacka no.
That goes on for like 2 more minutes, and then...
Wow, it worked! We're really at your radio station, Ronald!
Hi, everybody. You made it.
You made it? What does that mean, Ronald? Was there a chance they wouldn't? And then, moments later, Ronald rips everyone's memories right out of their skull in what he calls Forgetful Day.
Remembering is oh so hard. How much is 2 plus 2? We even forget our own names. I'm me, but who are you?
Ronald, these are children under your supervision. This is wildly irresponsible. And if this isn't upsetting enough, Ronald seems just a little too pleased with his work.
Unforgettable day.
Hip hip hooray!
We all forget together.
So, what else happens on this album? Well, there's a bunch of radio show segments like weather, news, interviews, sports, and such. They even do a sponsor read at one point.
This part of our program was presented by the proud people who make Peter Piper Purple Pickle Purr Plippers.
Let's check the track list and see if we missed anything. Fun, fun, fun. Ronald makes it magic. I like to scare myself.
Sometimes I like to scare myself. It really can be fun.
I think it's time to move on. McDonald's released a second album called Travel Tunes. It's mostly more of the same, but now the radio station is a car. The Fun-mobile. It can transform into any vehicle. Also, it talks.
With a little of Ronald's magic, you see, I change into anything you want me to be.
Very cool. Ronald also reveals he can travel through time by typing yesterday into his GPS, but aside from that, not much happens. That brings us to Album 3, Silly Sing-Along, which takes place on Silly Day. Ronald reveals he can talk to animals, and then drops a sick Rick and Morty reference.
I could be a pickle.
Unfortunately, he goes on to get a little too silly.
It'd be fun to be a little kid, but it'd be even sillier to be a baby.
Yeah, let's all be babies.
Gaga-goo-goo.
And then they start scatting.
Flangabees, boof, no mama, good day. Babadee, boop, okay!
Pretty cool.
McDonald's also released a fourth tape, but it's just Halloween sound effects. 5 years later, in 1999, McDonald's released its fifth and final magical radio album, The Wacky Musical Adventures of Ronald McDonald, Intergalactical Magical Radio. This was created as a tie-in to the animated show, The Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald, which, by the way, exists. Strangely, this album was never actually available for purchase, but was instead broadcast on United Airline flights. So, what happens on this album? Well, Ronald converts the radio station into a rocket ship, and everyone blasts off into space. They sing some songs, rescue a stranded alien, and Ronald drops his most ominous dialogue yet.
You'll be destroyed. Nah!